I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test part 168. Roald Dahl, while doing leg injury prevention training, that you participate in the leg injury prevention training, that is at your honest. Roald Dahl, 1916 until 1990. Roald Dahl was born in Wales to Norwegian parents. He was born in Wales, so he lived probably more or less his whole life in Wales. So he was probably Welsh. So he was born in Wales to Norwegian parents. He served in the Royal Air Force during the Second World War. You having a picture to that? A picture to the Royal Air Force during the Second World War, not the Royal Dahl. There's a picture of the Royal Air Force during the Second World War. So, Roald Dahl served in the Royal Air Force during the Second World War. It was during the 1940s that he began to publish books and short stories. So in the 1940s, he started to publish some books or short stories. We know some other authors. We're knowing of William Shakespeare and his four famous books named to us were A Midsummer Night's Dream, Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, and I think it was Macbeth. And when we had Isaac Newton, who wrote with Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, and when we had Graham Greene and Evelyn Vaughan, who were bringing books out in the 1920s, I think it was. It was written by the BBC thing with 1922 radio, and 14 years later, 1936, the first broadcasting, and 10 years after the radio was done in 1932, it was television, JLB, John Lloyd Baird, who made the television 1934 from Glasgow to London. It was 1932, it was 10 years. You can calculate probably 14 years, yes, that makes sense. So it's 10 years after the radio was the first television tested. But the first television program was 14 years after the radio. So in the 1940s, we had someone else writing books. We had here Samuel Pepys about the reconstruction of London after the Great Fire. We have a Beveridge Report. Rudyard Kipling, who wrote If of a Jungle Book, or now with the Do Not Go Gentle into the Night, that was someone else. Just So Stories was Rudyard Kipling, and When If. And I'm going to look now, who was it who wrote? It was later, but I'm going to look at it, find some else. Robert Burns, the bard, Auld Lang Syne that we have named here, but he wrote many more. Dylan Thomas, Under Milkwood, the radio play, and the poem is Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night. It was in Swansea, maybe you should look for that. It must be in Ireland, no, in Welsh. In Wales must be Swansea, somewhere. So, we're having now Roald Dahl. He started to publish books in the 1940s and probably at the same time, also at that time, he served during the Second World War in the Royal Air Force. He is most well known for his children books, although he also wrote for adults. So he wrote books which people classified as written for children and books which are defined or people say that they're written for adults. But I don't think that someone cannot read them otherwise. His best known works include Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and George's Marvelous Medicine. Several of his books have been made into films. So two of his books are named here, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and George's Marvelous Medicine. No, this is for the next thing. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and George's Marvelous Medicine. We will not do anything new, but we will do more. So if you're just here for new things, you can go on. We're doing no leg injury prevention training. We are having the leg standing quite far, the breathing in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. Out. Now breathe in close legs. And out. Now bring one leg in front and point the foot. Stretch the leg up. Now take the leg by the ankle and point the knee to the ground, but make sure that you stretch axially over quads to have a neutral position in the spine. And now the other leg. Bring the leg up with the pointed foot. And now take the leg by the ankle and make a neutral position in the spine, so that you're actually stretching quads. Release the leg. Now we're placing one hand on the tummy and one on the lower back, and we're lifting one leg in a straight line up. We're having a flexed foot. If the quad muscles cramp, then bring the leg with the pointed foot up. Bring the leg up. Control with the hands, but you have a neutral position in the spine, but you don't go back. And try to bring the leg higher. Put a bit of effort into it. Don't overdo it, but put some effort into it. Flexed foot, straight leg. Try to bring the leg higher. Try to bring it higher, a little longer. And now bring the leg up. And foot. Foot. Now the other leg. One hand on tummy, one on lower back. And we're having a straight leg, and we're bringing straight leg with the flexed foot up. Control with the hands, but you have the neutral position of the spine. Try to bring the leg higher. A little longer, try to bring the leg higher. Now bring the leg up. And on to the next exercise. We can read while we're doing it. We're having one leg pointing to the other side with the toes, the other leg with the heel on the ground, and we're lifting the heel off the ground and placing it again on the ground. The whole movement comes from the hips, but don't do too many, maybe 5 to 10 are just enough. So he published in the 1930s his first books. He served in the Royal Air Force during the Second World War, and he published many books, and several of them were made into movies. And 2 of his well-known books are here written here: Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and George's Marvelous Medicine. So, George's Marvelous Medicine, the marvelous medicine of George. George's Marvelous Medicine. So, back to the inventions. Sir Robert Watson Watt, the television. Let's go on with new ones. Sir Frank Whittle jet engine. Can we anyhow remember that? Frank Whittle jet engine, 1930s, which should be stuff to take in 1930s. That would be confusing if you learn it later. Jet engine, 1930s. Frank Whittle, Sir Frank Whittle. DNA was Francis Crick. Frank Whittle jet. The jet engine causes friction. Was done by Sir Frank Whittle. Jet engine, Frank Whittle. Sir Bernard Lovell Jodrell Bank. There we have no date. Insulin, John McLeod. I don't know, we can remove it. Yes, anyway. So last exercise. It's an extreme exercise, so you might not want to do it. We're having a good standing leg. The other leg is flexed in the air. and we're bringing the flex foot in a straight line up, and the upper part of the body goes down in a straight line. And we're trying to have a tall standing leg. Bring the pressure onto the biceps femoris muscle. And we're trying to fall in the abdomen. And the last 5. And the last one. Now the same. With the other leg. Good standing leg. And we're bringing the leg back. The leg is straight, having a flexed foot. The upper part of the body goes down in a straight line. Having a tall standing leg to bring the pressure onto the biceps femoris. And we're trying to fall in the abdomen. And the last 5. And now just the closing exercise. Head breathing in. And again in. Out the last time. Breathe in and cross release. And out and we're done with the leg injury prevention training. So, John McLeod, insulin. Francis Crispy. Francis. It cannot be Frisbee. Crick. Francis Crick. DNA. Crick. Francis Crick. DNA. And Frank Whittle. Sir Frank Whittle, the jet engine. John Logie Baird. Logie Baird. Television. And Francis Crick. It is the Whittle and Crick. So Frank Whittle and Francis Crick. Francis Crick. C-R-I-C-K. Francis Crick. DNA. And Frank. We have Francis and Frank. And Frank Whittle. Francis Crick. Frank Whittle. Sir Frank Whittle. Sir Frank Whittle. Francis Crick. Sir Francis Crick jet engine. You could do it in a dance. And Francis Crick DNA. Francis Crick, the helix of the DNA. John McLeod insulin. I don't know how we should remember it. Insulin, John McLeod. John McLeod, insulin. I get no idea how we can combine them. Sir Frank Whittle jet engine. Francis Crick. Francis Crick. The other thing. DNA, the helix. Francis Crick, the helix. Sir Frank Whittle jet engine. And James McLeod insulin. No, there's nothing named but. And Sir Bernard Lovell in Jottlebank Radio Telescopages in Cheshire. Sir Bernard Lovell in Jottlebank. Sir Robert Watson Wood, the radar, and JLB, John Logie Baird, the television, and then the Turing machine. John Floyd Institute, Francis Crick, DNA Helix, and Sir Frank Whittle, the jet engine. Well, we will continue in the next part. I thank you very much and have a nice time.